On the evening of November 3, 1985, thick fog clung to the streets of Westminster as the clock approached 7. A sleek black Jaguar moved through the mist, its headlights cutting through the darkness toward Wellington Barracks. Inside the car, Princess Diana gripped the steering wheel tightly, her knuckles white with tension. The cold night air was nothing compared to the anxiety in her chest. Beyond the archway, pools of golden light spilled from the arena lights that called her forward to Captain James Hewitt, who waited with eager anticipation. Tonight, the lesson that awaited her had nothing to do with riding. Diana caught her own reflection in the rearview mirror. She took a breath, steadying her trembling hand, and tried to perfect her lipstick. In just 13 minutes, she would share a kiss that would cross an irrevocable line. This kiss could send shockwaves through the royal family and threaten to unravel secrets that had been hidden for generations. But as Diana stepped onto the rain-slicked cobblestones, the sound of her heels echoed in the empty night. She had no idea that eyes were watching her from the shadows unseen, already documenting her every move. At night, Wellington Barracks became almost unrecognizable. Shadows stretched across the silent passageways. The windows gazed out, empty yet quietly observant. Every now and then, the restless shuffle of horses drifted through the chill, reminding Diana she was truly alone. She had chosen this secluded spot for a reason. Here, prying royal eyes could not reach her, but the solitude she craved came with its own hazards. In this deserted world, she felt completely exposed, a realization that could have frozen her if her mind wasn't already unraveling. Earlier that afternoon, heartbreak had left her hollow. Alone in her Kensington Palace bathroom, she wept as she looked over Charles's latest phone statement, 47 calls in a single month, all to Camilla. Some of those conversations went on late into the night, lasting for hours, far longer than any call she and Charles had shared in all their years together. The truth was cruel. In just 30 days, her husband had revealed more to another woman than he ever had to his own wife. As Diana approached, the heavy arena door swung open before her hand even touched it. Standing there, framed in the warm glow of the stables, was James Hewitt. His usual cavalry uniform was gone. Tonight he wore simple civilian clothes. The change softened him, making him look almost boyish, open in a way that felt incredibly reassuring. James addressed her with formal words, "Your Royal Highness," but the gentleness in his voice suggested something far more personal, something left unspoken. As Diana stepped inside, the door thudded shut behind her, cutting off the outside world. Her heart pounded. Together, they were surrounded by the rich scent of horses, leather, and old straw. Harsh overhead light cast deep shadows across the sandy floor of the arena. A bay mare stood waiting, already saddled and still, but it was clear neither Diana nor James was thinking about riding lessons. Collecting herself, Diana broke the silence. "I need to tell you something." Her voice was stronger than she felt inside. James's intense green gaze met hers, urging her to continue and leaving her a little breathless. "Before these lessons go any further, before I come back here, you deserve to know why I keep returning." James nodded silently, attentive and open invitation for her truth. Diana walked to the mounting block and climbed onto it, feeling drained by the endless burden of perfection pressed upon her. The truth came out, weary and raw. "Charles does not love me. He never has, and I can't keep pretending that doesn't hurt." Diana's words hung in the cold arena air, the unspoken tension settling between them. James took a step closer, torn between keeping his composure and wanting to offer comfort. He stopped himself, holding on to that final line of professionalism. His voice softened, all formality gone. "Diana," he said, barely above a whisper, "are you sure you want to share this with me?" She met his gaze, steady and sincere. He was searching for reassurance, and she gave it without hesitation. "There's nothing I'm more sure of. I need to be seen for who I truly am, not just as some royal duty to be endured. When you look at me, James, I feel known." Her honesty was bold, almost dangerous. Just speaking these truths could threaten reputations, futures, everything. Diana watched as understanding slowly spread across James's face. He spoke carefully. "Your marriage," Diana's answer was sharp, edged with pain, a small, bitter laugh. "My marriage ended a long time ago. Charles just never bothered to tell me." She stood and moved closer to him, close enough to feel the warmth of his skin. Her voice trembled, but she pressed on. "Every night he spends hours talking to Camilla Parker Bowles. He slips from our bed at midnight and doesn't return. He saves his tenderness for her and greets me only with annoyance." Despite her poise, Diana's voice trembled under the strain. "I came here tonight because I'm at a crossroads. I can keep being the pitied princess, or just once I can finally claim something for myself." A flash of anger tightened James's jaw. Any man given your love, who doesn't treasure you above all else, he's blind to his own fortune. His words were simple, but they wrapped around Diana like a balm. When was the last time someone called her precious? When had Charles looked at her with real longing? Carefully, James reached out, giving her every chance to pull away. He gently tucked a lock of golden hair behind her ear, his fingers brushing her cheek, a gesture more intimate than words could express. "If we cross this line," he murmured, "nothing will be the same. Your name, my career, everything will change. There's no going back." Yet Diana closed the distance. Rising to meet him, she pressed her lips to his, sealing her choice. What began as a tentative touch quickly caught fire, growing into a kiss full of need and longing. In that moment, Diana poured years of isolation, pain, and unspoken yearning into their embrace. For her, this was survival, a woman desperate for connection after being left out in the cold for so long. James responded to her passion without hesitation, pulling Diana into his arms and holding her tight. Together, they clung to each other in the shadowed arena, while uneasy horses moved in the background, their restless sounds echoing the storm growing inside them. For the first time in years, Diana felt what it was like to be wanted, to be chosen. A thrill of danger rippled beneath her skin. Something inside her thawed, no longer frozen by neglect. Lost in each other, they remained unaware of the world outside. Overhead, through the high arena windows, a palace security officer's camera lens caught their secret, the beginning of a scandal yet to be born. When they finally pulled apart, their breaths were still ragged, but James didn't let go. His arms stayed tightly around Diana, protective, pleading. "You need to realize what you're putting on the line," he warned, his voice raw. "If anyone finds out, they will do everything in their power to destroy you. The palace, the tabloids, Charles, they'll use this against you with everything they have," James cautioned. But instead of fear, Diana's wild, defiant laughter filled the air. "Let them try. Charles has spent years quietly breaking me, piece by piece. At least now I'll have something beautiful to hold on to before they finally finish what they started." As she spoke, her fingers gently traced the lines of James's jaw, marveling at how unfamiliar and yet how comforting he felt compared to her husband. "I'm finished letting fear rule me. I'm done being the dutiful wife. Tonight I choose this." So the affair began, not just out of spite, but growing into something neither of them could control. That November night, in the silent military arena, was only the beginning. Diana quickly arranged writing lessons several times a week, first 3, then 4, and soon every single day. Their secret life became a carefully choreographed dance, nighttime visits to Kensington Palace through unmarked entrances. Lazy afternoons spent in a Chelsea flat borrowed from a friend in the regiment, and sunrise meetings in Hyde Park, hidden by the swirling London fog. What began as an escape slowly turned into a real possibility. They kept up their cloak and dagger secrecy, but just barely. Deep down, Diana yearned to be discovered. She wanted Charles to experience the embarrassment that had haunted her for years. Subtly, she started weaving James's name into her daily conversations with Charles, not too obvious, but just enough to unsettle him. During dinners, she'd say, "James believes I could become a real writer," watching as Charles's jaw clenched. Or, with a casual smile, "According to James, I'm surprisingly graceful even for a late starter." Diana would put special emphasis on words like "believes," and according to James, using her tone to suggest a hint of intimacy. Whenever Charles asked for more details about this so-called instructor, she always answered with a sly, careful vagueness. "He is quite attentive," she'd say, leaving the rest to Charles's imagination. "Some men actually appreciate my company, Charles. Can you imagine?" Day by day, the psychological battle between them grew more intense. Diana changed her perfume to a scent Charles had never smelled before. She bought bold new silk lingerie luxuries she wore for anyone but her husband. Each act was a statement, a challenge, and a quiet victory. She styled her hair in a softer, more romantic way, sometimes mentioning that James had noticed and admired the change. Every new detail was intentional. Every word, every gesture was carefully designed to unsettle Charles even more. Diana watched him closely as his jealousy simmered, turning suspicion into full-blown paranoia. She relished this reversal. Now he would finally know the gnawing dread of doubting a partner's love and the quiet fear of wondering if you'd already been left behind in their heart. Everything came to a head at a chilly polo match in February 1986. Diana publicly invited James and introduced him proudly as her guest, a deliberate move meant to provoke, not to hide. Seated together on the sidelines, Diana responded to James's every comment with laughter. She often brushed his arm and leaned in, as if every word he spoke was a secret just for her. The energy between them was undeniable, felt all through the viewing stands. Their connection was clear. Anyone watching could see the truth in every lingering glance and shared smile. Across the field, during a lull in play, Charles noticed them. The air between Diana and James was electric, impossible to ignore. Diana met her husband's eyes, gave him a sharp, knowing smile, then slowly rested her hand on top of James's. The message was clear. In her mind, the tables had finally turned, but Charles's reaction was swift and far darker than Diana had expected. His anger simmered, but underneath there was something colder. He was already calculating his next move, determined to destroy them both. After the match, in a secluded private room at the club, Charles's mask broke. He confronted Diana, his voice hissing with rage, his face flushed and tense. "What exactly do you think you are doing?" he demanded. Diana didn't flinch. She met his gaze, her face unreadable. "Enjoying the company of a man who actually values me. Does that offend you?" Charles's grip was harsh, his hand closing tightly around her arm, hard enough to leave a bruise. "You're turning yourself into a scandal. Everyone is whispering about you and your cavalry officer. You're dragging the royal name through the mud." Diana yanked her arm free, determined to show no fear. "The royal name? Spare me, Charles. For years you have made a mockery of our marriage with Camilla Parker Bowles. Don't you dare lecture me about shame." Diana snapped back, her voice sharp with fury. The argument exploded, fiercer than any they had before. Charles hurled accusations, calling Diana unstable and vindictive, but she met his anger with all the betrayals he'd ever dealt her, turning her words into weapons, sharp and precise. "You made your choice," she yelled, her restraint gone. "Time and again you picked her. You give her your gentleness and leave me your scorn. Even my anniversary present, she received it instead. At night, once I've drifted off, you call for her from down the hall. So I found someone who truly desires me, and for once I feel no shame." Charles's voice dropped, cold as ice. "End things with Hewitt. If you refuse, I will make sure you regret this for the rest of your life." Diana laughed, a brittle, jagged sound. "I regret ever marrying you, Charles. I doubt you can add to that tally." She brushed past him, her head held high. In that moment she knew she had crossed a line, one from which there was no return. The battle lines were drawn. Charles clung to Camilla. Diana was determined to claim her own happiness, no matter the consequences. And if the monarchy couldn't withstand this raw reality, Diana now questioned whether it ever truly deserved to. Their affair continued, pushing far beyond stolen moments and secrecy. What started as a reckless escape soon became a sanctuary. James became her safe harbor, a person who saw her not as a royal failure, but as a whole human being. With him, Diana rediscovered laughter and found a sense of ease. He gave her space to weep and rage, without fear of ridicule or dismissal. He never accused her of being too emotional, or not enough of something. James genuinely cared. When Diana poured her heart into charity work, or shared her fears about her sons, he listened and encouraged her. He never belittled her hopes or questions. Through James, Diana realized she was clever, resourceful, and deserved more than just ornamental praise. Yet beneath their growing intimacy, a quiet storm was gathering. Unknown to them, a palace security officer had captured photos of Diana and James sharing a kiss at Wellington Barracks. Those incriminating images were sent directly to Charles's inner circle, setting in motion consequences neither Diana nor James could see coming. The images were like powder kegs, undeniable proof of Diana's infidelity, and ammunition that threatened not just her public reputation, but even her claim to her children, William and Harry. Charles locked the photographs away in a private safe at Highgrove, waiting for the right moment to use them. For him, these pictures were leverage, a way to force Diana into submission and dictate the final terms of their broken marriage. But Charles wasn't the only one preparing for battle. Unknown to him, Diana had gathered her own set of photographs, images of Charles and Camilla, captured by a private investigator she secretly hired. Her evidence told an even bolder, more damning story than anything the palace security officer could uncover. By 1986, this hidden war of secrets and threats had reached truly dangerous heights. The staff whispered about the poisonous tension, the chill in the air whenever Charles and Diana were in the same room. Years of animosity had hardened between them. In private, they barely spoke at all. Only the presence of photographers and news cameras forced them to put on a brittle, united front. They communicated through trusted aides, each side building a catalog of grievances and evidence, preparing for the inevitable collapse of their marriage. Charles even compiled files to prove Diana's supposed instability and her relationships outside their marriage. Diana was just as methodical. She began collecting evidence of Charles's ongoing devotion to Camilla and his unwillingness to meet even the basic duties of a husband. Then in October, their uneasy truce was finally broken. Charles summoned Diana and, with a chilling calm, laid the Wellington Barracks photographs across the table in her sitting room. The pictures spread out before her, silent but clear accusations. In a measured voice, Charles said, "Call things off with him. If you don't, these will go straight to the tabloids. I'll make sure the world believes you're unstable and unfaithful, not fit to raise the heir to the throne. William and Harry will be taken from you." A jolt of icy fear raced through Diana. The threat to her son struck her to the core, yet she refused to give him any satisfaction. Steadying herself, Diana walked over to her own safe, retrieved a sealed envelope, and held it out. "Before you try to ruin me," she said evenly, "I think you should see what I have." The photos inside were damning. They showed Charles and Camilla in intimate moments far beyond anything captured between Diana and James. As Charles looked at them, his face drained of color. He struggled to process what he saw. "How did you even get these?" he demanded. Diana's smile was thin and icy. "I hired someone who actually knows what they're doing, Charles. Unlike your guard, who still thinks I don't know he's watching me." She calmly gathered her photos. "So, let's keep this simple. If you stop making threats, these pictures stay hidden. But if you don't, Camilla's face will be splashed across every front page in Britain, and nobody will believe she was forced into it. Everyone already knows she was your lover long before we were married." In this tense moment, a fragile truce was born. Charles knew that if he tried to destroy Diana, he'd be dragging his affair with Camilla into the unforgiving spotlight of the press. If Diana took action, she'd have to support Charles's version of events. The two of them became prisoners of each other's secrets, stuck in a delicate balance, pretending unity for the public while actually living completely separate lives. Maybe that truce could have held if Diana hadn't made one fateful mistake. With James Hewitt, she dropped her usual guard and truly allowed herself to fall in love. In December of 1987, Diana went to a military ball to see James honored for his service. She had promised Charles she'd behave and keep up appearances, but this time her defenses slipped. But as James, looking striking in his formal uniform, accepted his honor, a rush of emotions broke through her defenses. Pride and longing outweighed her usual caution. The moment James stepped off the stage, Diana couldn't hold back. She walked straight to him, her feelings on full display, and kissed him right there, under the bright lights and in front of 300 shocked guests. The room fell silent, broken only by the sound of cameras clicking. By sunrise, photos of their public embrace splashed across every London headline, causing a scandal, and yet Diana's very public slip was just the beginning. That same evening, someone anonymously slipped cocaine into James's military locker. Overnight, his career was in ruins, and Diana's reputation dragged through the mud. The story erupted into a media firestorm. Across Britain, people woke up to lurid headlines: Diana's affair, her reckless decisions, and the downfall of a cavalry hero. The royal household quickly released statements, pretending to care about Diana's well-being, but really casting her as unstable in the public's eyes. Charles moved fast. He petitioned for a formal separation and used incriminating photos to argue Diana was no longer fit for her royal role. But then came the final blow. James Hewitt was suddenly arrested on drug possession charges. During what should have been a routine check, cocaine was found in his locker, cocaine that had been planted. His military career came to an abrupt stop. Disgrace arrived overnight. Now James faced the threat of a court-martial, with the possibility of prison looming ahead. Diana understood the truth right away. This wasn't just bad luck. The events were too deliberate, the timing too perfect. She knew Charles was behind it, punishing James for Diana's recent public act of defiance. Frantic, Diana threw herself into saving him. She brought in top lawyers and called in every favor she had, but the royal establishment powered on. Relentless, James was dismissed in disgrace. His good name was shattered, his future stolen away. Diana heard the message: this is the price for crossing us. Their relationship didn't end by choice. James was simply erased, pushed out of London in humiliation. He couldn't find work or reclaim a normal life, not while his name remained linked to Diana. The depth of Diana's regret was overwhelming. She realized with sharp and painful clarity that her struggle against Charles had come at a terrible cost, not to him, but to the one man who truly loved and supported her. Diana could now see how easily someone used as a shield or a sword ends up carrying all the scars. James had given her only loyalty, compassion, and love, never asking for anything in return. In the end, that trust had cost him everything. Consumed by grief and outrage as the years passed, Diana began to reshape herself into the people's princess, warm, approachable, and living proof of everything Charles and his traditions were not. When she finally spoke out in her explosive Panorama interview, she didn't hold back from the truth. She admitted to the affair and revealed the harsh realities behind the palace walls. "Yes, I loved him," she said of James. "I was truly in love, but even that small shred of happiness was something the institution simply would not allow." Diana's televised confession sent shockwaves through the monarchy, shaking its image and swiftly turning public support away from Charles. Through her bond with James, Diana reached her goal, proving to the world that she too deserved love and forcing Charles to face his own failings. But the victory felt empty. James had disappeared, forever stained by scandal. Her marriage was over, and the unwavering force of the royal institution sent a clear message: challenge the crown, and you risk everything. For years, Diana's anger burned for justice after countless humiliations, and while she finally managed to strike back, the cost was devastating. A decade later, on August 30th, 1997, Diana wrote a final letter. It was only after her tragic death the following evening that the note was discovered, sealed and left behind in her private safe at Kensington Palace. It was brief but heavy with sorrow. Addressed to James Hewitt, it began, "James, if you are reading this, I am gone." She continued, "I need you to understand that what we shared was genuine, even though at times I wielded it as a weapon. You pulled me through the darkest moments of my marriage. I am sorry that I could not rescue you in turn." Dated August 30th, 1997, the night before the fatal crash in the Alma Tunnel in Paris, the letter left behind questions that would never be answered. Had Diana foreseen her own fate, or did she simply want to set the record straight at last? That remains a mystery. Yet the discovery of that letter changed how people viewed their love story. 6 months after Diana's passing, James Hewitt opened the envelope, his hands trembling. Diana's lawyer had delivered the note, along with a generous gift she had arranged before her trip to Paris. Now, alone in his modest apartment, James read each word over and over, tears silently streaming down his cheeks. To the outside world, he was seen as the villain, the man who betrayed Diana's trust just by telling his side of the story. But in her final handwritten notes, Diana revealed something much more complex, a love that was complicated, and a truth that couldn't be summed up in simple terms. Diana's relationship with James wasn't some accident or a story of helpless surrender. She chose him deliberately, fully aware of what their partnership meant on the grand chessboard of royal life. For her, this was far more than just an affair. It was a revolt, a deliberate act of defiance against an institution designed to wear her down. And James was right there with her, ready to play his part in their rebellion. The cavalryman from Wellington Barracks was no longer just a footnote. He became an essential part of Diana's story, a testament that she was not just a legend, but truly human. She could love deeply, she could be hurt, and she could strike back with passion. Of course, history wouldn't be forgiving. Their connection would be labeled a scandal, a sign of weakness. But Diana's final words to James painted a very different picture. She wasn't simply a naive princess, trapped by a cunning outsider. She was a fighter, carefully choosing her allies, picking her battles, and willing to wage war for her own survival. In James Hewitt, Diana found both her savior and her casualty. He was the one who helped her rediscover herself, but he also paid a heavy price for it. When Diana first pressed her lips to his, in the hush of a deserted arena on that November night in 1985, neither could have imagined how tragic and unforgettable their story would become. Diana could never have predicted the tidal wave of scandal, the bitter fallout, or the endless debate that their relationship would ignite for years to come. But in that crucial moment, she made a choice that would resonate throughout the rest of her life. She chose to resist. Defying royal expectations, she decided to seize whatever joy she could, to follow her own happiness, no matter the rules. She put love before duty, chose risk over routine, and reached out for freedom instead of the gilded cage of palace life. Many affairs are driven by passion, but Diana's relationship with James Hewitt was something very different. This was about fighting to stay afloat. In the face of unbearable isolation, she found a lifeline in James, a way to pull herself back from the edge. It was an act of rebellion, a cry for vindication, and a journey to reclaim her sense of worth after being so cruelly cast aside. Maybe James was never her soulmate, but at that moment he was exactly who Diana needed, the catalyst, who showed her she deserved affection, and who gave her the strength to challenge, and ultimately help break down the stifling institution that tried so hard to silence her. Long after Diana's tragic passing and James's quiet retreat from the spotlight, historians continued to debate the impact of their affair. Did it tarnish Diana's reputation or help build her legacy? But in the end, the real lesson was much more personal. Diana was suffocating in a royal marriage that threatened her very soul. James Hewitt reminded her that she still had the strength to endure. For that reason alone, their relationship deserves to be remembered not simply as a scandal, but as a lifeline, however imperfect. It was a spark that transformed a once shattered princess into a resilient woman, one who would leave a lasting mark on the monarchy. The evidence of their secret, photographs taken at Wellington Barracks, stayed hidden in Charles's safe at Highgrove for the rest of his life. They were never made public, thanks to the mutual risk that kept everyone silent. But Diana's letter to James surfaced years later, after heated legal battles over her estate. Its emergence shed new light on everything that had happened before. In her final message to James, Diana didn't express regret or longing for what could have been. Instead, it held a simple acknowledgement, a thank you and a tribute. You saved my life. When all the dust settled, that was what truly endured. Diana had been rescued. She found her own resilience again, and fought her way out of captivity to claim a hard-won sense of freedom, even though the cost was high. Their forbidden bond began on a chilly autumn evening at Wellington Barracks, and ended in the tragedy of a Paris tunnel and in James's own quiet exile. Yet within those boundaries, something profound took root. A princess discovered just how strong she truly was. A woman reclaimed her belief that she was worthy not just of love, but of respect. Love, with all its complexity and boundaries, sometimes became her shield. Yet, it was also the force that pushed Diana from helplessness to victory. Not every romance ends like a fairy tale. Diana and James's story didn't chase conventional happiness. Instead, it held on to something deeper. It ended honestly, and in Diana's final letter, she revealed a powerful truth. Real, uncompromising truth is worth risking everything for.